Ladies and gentlemen, Anchor and Spotify have signed me up for their ambassador ads program, but the only ad that I get to put on this podcast, according to them, is the one for Anchor. So I'm here to tell you why we love the host of this podcast, Anchor.fm. Listen, Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast to listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started. Listen, I love Anchor. It's easy to upload. I can just upload the videos of this podcast directly to Spotify. It puts it on Apple. It does everything for you. We use Anchor here. We use Anchor at Recap and Record. Listen, I launched Recap and Record, that podcast. I launched it in 20 minutes. It literally took me 20 minutes because I just made a new Anchor account. I created the podcast. They gave me my RSS feed, and bam, there you have it. A brand new podcast. Here we go. Listen, you need to use Anchor to host your podcast. All my clients use it. All my friends use it. 280 Plus uses it. Attack at Random uses it. Recap and Record uses it. The Wad Pod uses it. If you're not using Anchor to host your podcast, what are you doing? Okay? You need to go to anchor.fm to get started today. It is free and anyone can make a podcast. Listen, I tell all my friends all the time because all of my friends here's the same. It's the same fucking story every single time. I see a tweet, I see a Facebook post, I see a business, I see a person, I see a model, quote unquote, I see whoever, and they're like, dude, I think I should start a podcast. I'm going to start a podcast about this, and I'm going to start a podcast about that, and I want to start a podcast about this. And then I comment on it, and I say, do it. Do it right now. You don't need to spend $10,000 on a studio renovation like I did. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on boom arms and microphones and $600 Rodecaster Pros and $600 Apple Air Max headphones and a fucking $800 4K camera and a Facecam Pro and everything. I mean, listen, you don't need to spend 15 grand to get a podcast started like I did. Okay? It literally will start with the device in your pocket. If you want to start a podcast, start it now. I know it's hypocritical of me to say that, but start it right now, okay? This isn't my first podcast. This is like my fourth or fifth one. So let's get with the program, people. Get out your phone, go to the App Store, type in Anchor, A-N-C-H-O-R. I'm giving you all the fucking details right here, right now. We're going to get to the episode in a minute, but I'm telling you, you need to go to anchor.fm.com. It's not .com, I'm sorry. It's just anchor.fm. It's 2022, people. Anchor.fm, or just Google the word Anchor podcasting. You'll find it, okay? Anchor.fm to download the app and then just start an episode. Listen, start it on your phone. You have a phone. I know you have a fucking pair of AirPods. Everybody does. And if you don't have AirPods, your phone fucking came with a free pair of wired ones. Those work better than the AirPods anyways. So, dude, throw in your headphones, do what you need to do, and freaking get your podcast started today. And there's no easier way to do that than anchor.fm, just like this podcast does. Now, back to the show. No, we picked up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another fucking episode of the What Are We Doing podcast. This is Better Call Paul. This is the What Are We Doing podcast. I just have ADHD and probably many other things wrong with me. I just love using my SM7B microphone and my Rodecaster Pro and my blue, really fancy arm mic. And it makes me feel good. And that's how I like to talk to people on the phone. But the issue is you call me on the phone, so I route the Bluetooth through the Rodecaster's Bluetooth, which is great. And it's fine and it works. And it's beautiful. But if I connect the call to the Rodecaster Pro after the call starts, your voice is only in mono. You only come through the left channel. But if I connect it and then start the call, you're golden. You're on both left and right channels, and I don't know why. It's a little fluke in the software, but it's me and it's my problem, and I'm working on it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Good. So sorry to hear that. I also hate that with audio interfaces. anything can go slightly wrong. We were dealing with this last week where like I have as you have seen, I have a pretty rock solid studio setup.
Yeah.
I have got my interface. I got I think 10 in and outs on any given day.
Yeah.
I have all my synthesizers racked up. Everything's basically plugged in, so that if I have an idea musically, I can make it happen without having to fight with stuff. Because I've fought with stuff for years. I've had different setups, but right now I'm probably at my personal ideal setup for getting my ADHD brain to get a thought out into a recording before I lose it. And last week I was working on something with my buddy Nate, and just when it doesn't work, when you've spent the energy and the time and the money to get it to work, and then something just doesn't work, that upsets me just about more than anything.
Oh yeah.
It makes me irrationally just furious. Yeah. And I couldn't get my interface to work, and I couldn't get my OP1 to talk to my computer for some reason. It wouldn't work. And I was just in a loop of frustration. Yeah. And then by the time you finally figure it out, you've ruined your creative. I'm well, no, I'm not doing this now.
Right. So, right.
Just mood ruined, creativity down.
I have I got these dope little $30, they're these little $30 18-inch LED strips that I use for the background of the podcast, and I even use them. We use them at the weddings. I put them behind my table to give it a glow, and they're fucking dope, and they were only $30 on Amazon. I've got 10 of them, so I mean I spent a bunch of money, but I got 10 of them. And so, but when I got them, the first time I turned them on and I went to record a podcast, all we could hear was this atrocious buzzing noise coming through as feedback in the mixer and through our headphones and then the recording. And the only solution was to turn these lights off. And I was like, dude, fuck. I just got these dope lights for cheap, and they're giving off some, it's probably some cheap Chinese technology that's sending some weird signal through the air into the Rodecaster. And so
dude, it's any light, actually. Well, it's not your light; it's the outlet.
No. So here's the thing, though. It wasn't, and so unfortunately, and for our sake, it wasn't. Justin came over the next time we recorded, and I explained the problem. He looked behind the chair. The light was sitting on the XLR cable. And so so the power from the light was sitting on the XLR cable, and that was just sending it straight through to the mixer. So now
I have that happen it's not every time.
Yeah.
But so I've bought 4 or 5 power conditioners now to sort of avoid having to plug something in just straight to the wall.
Right.
Because if you flip on the lights I have overheads on a dimmer switch in my room.
Mm-hmm.
And
dimmer switches are the worst. If
you flip it on and then have the dimmer switch halfway, especially with a guitar with 60 cycle hum through the pickup, you'll hear just noise, incessant noise.
Yeah.
And it's very, very frustrating. And because you have to make sure you have enough plugs for stuff to not go into anything. Hot goss, by the way, that I just received via the internet that I wanted to share. I actually have to go do some more stuff, but I wanted to call you just to break up because this is a very Monday.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I just feel and lethargic, which is weird because I had a really good, relaxing weekend. But I'm just I'm just over it. I think.
Right.
I want to keep enjoying things. Apparently, Adam Levine cheated on his wife while his wife was pregnant.
What?
And told his mistress he wanted to name his son after her.
After his mistress. I'm on it now. What a day for Maroon 5 frontman Adam Levine, social media person. Have to explain to the 45-year-old what TikTok is. On Monday morning, just 3 days after Levine's model wife, Bahati Prince Lou, Jesus, change your name,
She's a Victoria's Secret model. The name's not going anywhere.
Confirmed their third pregnancy with a photo of a group bump. Instagram model Summer Stroth dropped a bombshell on TikTok in which Stroth alleges that Levine manipulated her into having an affair. Stroth said that back in June, after months of not talking, DM'd her on Instagram asking if Stroth was okay with him and his wife naming their forthcoming baby after her. Hashtag messy. Dude. But did I thought you'd appreciate. Like, come on, it's Adam Levine. He has neck tattoos. He makes $1 billion a year on The Voice, and it's Maroon 5. Like, they almost kicked him out of the band for what he's doing at The Voice. Like, you know what I mean? But he's making trillions of dollars a year. So is it such a surprise that he's cheating on his wife?
I guess no, because like all celebrities are trash, but it's just interesting because I think he's generally portrayed himself as like a good dude over the years. You know?
Yeah.
But hey, you know, all you needed the hot goss first, man. I saw it. Brittany texted me. She said, just keeping you, because Brittany keeps me in the loop on celebrity gossip that like won't find its way to my Twitter algorithm.
What?
So,
okay. Well, can I listen? It's a question I've been putting off for a few months now, but I think it's finally just time to ask you. I need your wife's phone number, so I can just start texting her individually because, you know, sometimes I feel like my messages don't get through to her, and now that I've learned this information, I feel like she just needs to be on my podcast. If she knows if she knows this news before I do, I'm on Twitter right now. I should have known this. Why is this not trending on Twitter?
She manages a hair salon. She knows all the gossip.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Twitter though. You're telling me the hair salon gets it before Twitter?
Dude, we're talking rich people in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. So there, you know, there's something there.
Wow.
Something there for sure.
I think I just need her. I think I need her on the podcast. Or
see if I can I'll see if I can talk to her agent and make that happen for you.
Yeah. Talk to her. Okay, great. And you know what, too? If she wanted, we could easily turn it into like an episode of like Levi's barbershop where she can like cut my hair and I'll ask her questions and we'll just be laughed up, and that's how we'll podcast. The podcast will be the haircut.
You're gonna take the like approach that LeBron James has of like the barbershop vibe.
Yeah,
you're gonna like do that thing.
Yeah. I mean Jeff Wittick, but also LeBron James for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's not a bad idea. Also,
or, dude, I could just go to her barber. Like, we don't even need to. I'll just go as a customer. I'll pay her. We'll take 2 seconds to mic her up, and we'll fucking record the whole thing there.
And the ever enterprising Levi McCurdy with yet another idea for. I feel like you should chunk out What Are We Doing into like mini series.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Stop! I already have 3.
The parent podcast.
Yeah,
I know. It's
I have 3 now.
Yeah.
And if you count Carlos, which I pretty much launched. Yeah, go.
Yeah. Well, did you watch the latest House of the Dragon?
Yes. Yeah, we're talking about it in 2 hours. Yeah, the weddings.
Dude, take away any of the story real quick. I don't know how they made, so one of the things I've always appreciated about HBO shows is like their gratuitous violence always looks incredible.
Yeah.
The dude's face being caved in after Kristen beat him up. Like, how did they do that? I was like, how did they do this? Where it literally looks like this person's face is just caved in. Like, obviously it's not the person, but like, it's a really well done makeup job or whatever the heck prosthetic they did to make it look that way. Because that was insane. It was gross. It looked so gross to look at afterwards.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm sure their budget per episode's like got to be like what, 20 million?
It's not that high. Maybe. I don't know.
It
was pretty high for some of the end of Game of Thrones. Like, I know like certain episodes were like some of the biggest budgets.
No. Fuck with me,
there.
son. Fuck with me. Obviously, Dragon having a nearly budget of $20 million per episode has helped production a bit bigger. Yep, $20 million per episode. So I mean,
that's how they get crazy prosthetics.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you can buy a fucking a life-size replica of fucking Whitney Cummings with a full functioning vagina and asshole for like $5,000 right now. So I'm pretty sure for 20 million, Game of Thrones can get a pretty similar dude's head that smashes pretty similar to a dude's head.
Yeah. Dude, it was pretty wild. I was another horrific Game of Thrones universe wedding.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't even the wedding. It was the rehearsal dinner. It was the rehearsal dinner.
But it became the wedding.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And just ramping up everything. Whole story ramps up.
Yep.
Also, okay. So you said you have some more spoiler intake.
Yep.
Is Rhaenyra into Daemon too?
Yep.
Or is she just always pushing him? Like just challenging him? Or is she into him too?
Do you want me to tell you everything?
Yeah, yes, because I probably will read the book at some point, but I need someone to tell me what's going on.
Okay.
There, because sometimes I think she's into him too. Sometimes I think that she's just challenging him because she's a strong character.
Yep.
But then we go back an episode to the brothel scene, and I'm like, it kind of seems like she's into her uncle.
Right.
So tell me what's up.
Yeah, no. So, no, that's pretty much it. So that him taking her to the brothel is something I believe that happens in the books often. That's how their relationship starts to blossom. That's how he opens her up to the world of sex and this leisure that he experiences because he's married, but he's fucking everyone else. Right. So, and so she, in fact, marries Laenard, as we see in this episode. We know he's gay. And so obviously that goes nowhere. In episode 6, we are going to see Ray's children. This is our 10-year time jump. The young actors are done now.
I saw in the preview that we have the older actors for everybody now. Which I'm stoked for the Queen, Olivia Cooke, great actress.
Yep.
Excited that she's the Queen now.
And so what you will notice if you go back and watch the previews for episode 6 is you will see Rhaenyra's first 2 sons born, and they are both white and they both have brown hair. And so there is rumors in the book that they are, let me get the name for you. There are rumors in the book that they are Strong, one of the knight's guards, one of the king's guards, his name is Strong. And there is even reference, she will make a reference in this show to her first 2 born sons as quote unquote strong boys. And so it's the rumors around the kingdom that they are actually, Rhaenyra hooks up with another king's guard named Strong. They are kind of hinting that it's Kristen Cole in this series, but I don't think it will be. So
it seems like he's going to be in the Queen's pocket now. It seems
right,
like
of
Kristen
course.
Cole is
yeah,
her
he's
because
team,
she stopped him from Harry carrying himself. And
so then what happens next is this episode 5 is the very beginning steps of what we will now know as the Greens and the Blacks, which is the Queen versus Rhaenyra. Because, as you will see in episode 6, that we get Aegon the second, basically, as a teenager now. He's training in the courtyard. It's the 10-year time jump, so he's 13, 14 years old. And so he's just basically getting ready. The king's dying any minute now. You can imagine in this episode it was bad. 10 years passes, so he's got 2 minutes left. And so
yeah, he looks awful in this episode, and it looks like he's going to look more awful from the flash forward that they showed.
So he's dying from leprosy. It is confirmed he has leprosy, and so
his hands rotting off, basically.
Yep. And so then basically between the Greens and the Blacks, which is Rhaenyra and the Queen, the fight for the Iron Throne. It's called the Dance of the...
Wait. You're telling me in a universe where they have a thing called grayscale, they just gave him regular old leprosy?
Yes.
He's just got regular old leprosy, normal human thing.
Yep.
Weird.
Yep.
Okay.
So then we get to the Dance of the...
I just had to...
Yep. So,
the Dance of the Dragons is a big dragon fight.
So all of this is basically build up. We might get the Dance of the Dragons this season, but it might be season 2. We don't know. And then Laenard Targaryen.
Interesting. And also, I guess similar to Danny, just I mean, she has relationships with different men throughout her tenure. Who's the first like assassin dude that she has a relationship with before they cross the water?
He's like one of the. He's like one of the. Yeah, fuck. He's like one of the. Yeah.
He's cool. He's a cool guy. I like that guy.
Yeah. He was
like,
a badass.
She's like a little sad when she leaves him.
Right.
But anyhow, it seems like Rhaenyra. It runs in the family to like have like a sexual appetite.
Yep.
Alongside men who protect you, apparently.
So Damon kills his wife in this episode, and then he ends up marrying Laenor, the daughter.
Yeah.
So Laenor's brother.
So they're
sister.
basically consolidating power via marriage of all of the dragons.
Yep.
All of the dragons.
Correct.
Are Daemon and Rhaenyra's now.
Right.
Because Daemon and Rhaenyra have married into the Valyrian family.
And so
the Valyrians have the other half of the dragons, and the Targaryens have the rest. And she and Daemon both can ride dragons. Do we know if the Valyrian kids ride dragons?
Oh, yes. Oh, no. Laenor rides Sea Smoke. We saw him destroy Crabfeeder. He's the one who helped Daemon. And the girl, the daughter gets on her dragon here in an episode or two.
So we got lots of dragons.
Yep.
And they have married into more dragons.
Yep.
So good geopolitical navigating in the Westeros.
So do you want to know who dies at the end of the Dance of the Dragons?
No, I'll let that one happen. I'll let that play out.
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. It was one of, I won't tell you what character, but one of the characters in the Game of Thrones series tells another character and mentions this character by name who dies. And how she dies, or how they die, not she, how they die.
Trying to remember. I mean, there's a ton of.
It's in the Game of Thrones series. So I mean, if you know, you know. But I'll let it be a surprise for you.
Yeah, I feel like this episode ramped things up. I'm intrigued. I am intrigued from a production standpoint to see how it feels to shift to new actresses for the two leads.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the younger ones crushed it.
Yeah.
Now I'm assuming since it's Game of Thrones, they'll be fine and it'll be great. But like, it's a little bit strange to do it within a season. Like, if you did a season to season jump, that's different. But like, they kind of got momentum with like one version of these characters.
Yep.
And then you're going to shift it.
Yep.
Which is a little bit strange.
Yep.
I'm curious because of who I am to check the IMDb reviews of the next episode too to see how people perceive shifting
I think
favorites and outplayed by different people.
Yeah, and I think I saw a thing too that like the IMDb or the Rotten Tomatoes or whatever it was before the episode even came out, it was like a 9.8 or something, like insane
for this last one.
Yeah. So
it was it's pretty high.
Yeah, man.
I thought it was a good episode. But.
Yeah, it's dope. It's I think it's fun, like knowing some things and then seeing it come forward because like I'm a spoilers guy. Like I know everything that happens in the Marvel movies, but I haven't seen one since like 2016 or 17. You know, so like.
Well, if you know everything that happened, you've gotten the like interesting part, which is the story was cool.
Right.
Story's cool. The in between is not. I was into Marvel early on.
Yeah.
Like I dug early Marvel. I then kind of drifted on it and I kind of got back into it a bit.
Right.
And then I got really into it when Captain America Winter Soldier came out because I liked that one a lot.
Yeah.
And then I just after the last, I think I've probably seen 5 of the ones that have come out after Infinity War ended or whatever.
Jeez,
and like they're just awful.
So many. Oh right, no, right. That's what I'm talking about. Before they even fucking like Thor: Love and Thunder, like the trailer drops. Cool, okay. Thor's down in his luck because he's with the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy now. He doesn't want to be Thor anymore. And then bam, his ex-girlfriend Natalie Portman shows up. She's a god now for some fucking reason. Who knows why? They fight a bad guy, they lose, they go back and fight him again, they win, and it's victory, and everyone lives happily ever after, right?
I mean, I haven't seen that one. I probably will at some point, but probably also won't.
But that's like it. Like, there's nothing else that could have potentially happened, like, in that movie. Like, do you, like, this
there's only so many plots. Like, we when we had COVID, we were trying to watch stuff we, like, just hadn't watched and catch up on things, and we started to watch, it wasn't Marvel. It's Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah.
And I got about 10 minutes into the movie and I was like, I can't watch this. I don't feel good already. And this is making me feel much, much worse.
Yeah.
Because the reality is we flattened everything and made like so many superhero movies that there's no new story to tell.
Right.
It's the same.
Right.
The
and
story
like
is
Wonder Woman
hero learns something
yeah.
from a moral, and sometimes it has to do something they learned as a teenager, but they have to relearn it as an adult. And now they're learning and reflecting on their younger self, learning a lesson from their dad, and then applying it to this big battle with a villain.
Oh my god!
And it's just like, how is this?
Stop!
Why is this what we have to do?
Oh my god! Yeah,
and
they learned something as a teenager.
Do that? Yeah, we'll have to be listening to that same plot line till like our brains melt out. Like that's just what sucks about it.
Right. Dude, yeah, and it's just like, can we stop? Like, when do we get to stop? Maybe. When do you think it'll be time? Like, I'm trying to think because Disney can't. They make so much money.
Okay, so Disney has done one thing that Brittany and I have sort of subtly observed.
Yeah,
they've definitely put more chickens in the Star Wars basket. Just like even what did we last watch? We watched one of the. I'm trying to remember what last Marvel TV show we watched. It might have been Hawkeye. We watched a recent Marvel show.
Yeah.
And it just like wasn't good.
Yeah.
It like wasn't good.
Yeah.
And then after watching it, it was like we watched the Obi-Wan show whenever that came out in like May or whatever. And the Obi-Wan show, like quality wise, like not even in the same realm. Like totally different. Must have had a bigger budget. Felt totally like they cared about the set pieces. Not the best written show that's ever come up, but like much, much better investment. And then I realized, like, I was like, there's going to be a shift where everything's analytics for them.
Right.
So if like She-Hulk Attorney at Law continues to like tank, and what's the other one that did Ms. Marvel continues to tank because they're just trying to like
Megan Thee Stallion. What the fuck is the Hulk doing at A, in the courtroom, and B, twerking with Megan Thee Stallion? It is the most ridiculous piece of shit I have ever seen.
No context for any of it because I've like literally tuned it out, but then I keep seeing it on Twitter.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. Pop up. Yeah,
and like without context, it's funnier I think because it's like this has to be, and it's the shitty thing that all of them do now, where it's like this is clearly like written by the algorithm. Like the algorithm wrote this show. It was written by insert very blasé with no interesting plot, female empowerment. When there's like a million movies who have really true female empowering stories, but like it's just all shoehorned and like there's no development. It's just like boom, 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 boom. And like again, I haven't watched this one, but I know what it's going to be just because they're all that.
Right.
And it's like it's written by the algorithm because that was even one of the ones. Oh, maybe it was last year. I've lost track of when all of these have come out because I stopped watching them after a bit, and then like. Sometimes if I have like a fever and I don't feel well, I'll put one on because it's nonsense background stuff.
Yeah.
But Captain America, the TV show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. WandaVision, Hawkeye, Loki.
Loki was terrible. I did not like Loki. Loki was cool in one sense. It had neat music. Because all of the music was done on a theremin, so it's this really weird, spooky sounding soundtrack.
Weird.
But not very good.
Like, I have no idea what Moon Knight is. I have no idea what WandaVision is just like her in a different dimension or something. I don't know, dude.
WandaVision was good. And WandaVision was good because Elizabeth Olsen carried the entire thing on her back. And it was a cool concept.
Right.
Because the concept of WandaVision was right after all of the shit went down and she had to kill Vision and pop his head in front of Thanos. And it didn't matter because, like, Thanos still killed him anyhow in reverse time, whatever. She's all traumatized because Vision was killed.
Right.
She goes to a plot of land that they had purchased for each other at like a little place in New Jersey.
Right.
And with like insane amounts of dark magic, creates an entire alternate reality where she and Vision just have like 2 kids and live in the suburbs. And it plays out pretty crazy because it flips decade to decade from TV shows that she liked as a kid
Okay.
before her parents got blown up and she and her brother were left alone.
Okay.
So it's like all kind of a study of her personal trauma playing out by the fact that she's like an all-powerful being that can manipulate reality to her own whim. But she's trapped everyone from this real town in her like nightmares, basically. It's actually very cool, very interesting. It lands in a way where all Marvel things do, where there's no real emotional payoff at the end. And there's like a big speech with the villain. And it's like, but the way to get there, that one was interesting. There's also like each episode's kind of an homage to the era. So there's like an I Love Lucy black and white episode of WandaVision.
Right.
Then there's an episode that's like Modern Family where they like do cutaway interviews with the cast. It's like pretty funny and like well done. Every other one of those shows. And the one that made me realize it was all being written by the algorithm was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because it started to have like a critique of the American military state, how like there's this new guy they're propping up to be Captain America who's like the all-American guy who like did things in Afghanistan he's not proud of.
Right.
And like it's like conflicted, and then like all of that was thrown out. That storyline was thrown out by like the 4th episode. And then it all became about like Sam being a black guy.
Right.
And like, but not in a way that was like helpful to the conversation or culturally interesting, just like hitting on all of the talking points that was just like, well, he has to say this because this is what a black guy would say.
Right. Well, and isn't that a guy? It's a damn fucking shame too, because the Winter Soldier I would put highly regarded as like maybe top 5 Marvel movies. Like the first Captain America, meh, but like the Winter Soldier I thought was dope.
Winter Soldier was cool, and also Winter Soldier has an interesting critique of like, hey guys, you know that like pointing a gun at everyone in the entire world isn't actually freedom.
Right.
The purpose of like, hey, we shouldn't do this whole like anti-terrorist thing because like you're just like increasing the chances of something bad happening.
You becoming right. Of course, yeah. You rule long enough to see yourself.
Interesting, yeah, and a cohesive, interesting story that landed. It landed with Captain America not killing his friend,
right,
and believing that like maybe there's nuance to things and not everything's black and white. You can't just like act on what we think. And then they don't do that anymore. They're all written by the algorithm. So they all hit on these like certain touch points. And like even Hawkeye is interesting in a way that it kind of tries to do the same thing as WandaVision, where Hawkeye is just traumatized because of like what happened to Black Widow, where she like killed herself for him.
Right.
So it starts out he's traumatized. In addition to being traumatized, he's also partially deaf now from all the battles. Right. But he's just a dude. He's just a dude with a bow and arrow. Like he's not like a superhero. So he's got like hearing aids, and they sort of set up this interesting thing where like there's like an anti-hero who's like kind of trapped in between a battle of good versus evil, and she's like chaotic neutral sort of, and that she's like trying to avenge her dad being killed by Hawkeye, but her dad was part of a gang, whatever. And she's deaf. She can't hear anything.
Right.
So they sort of set them up to be like these two characters who are like, she's lived her whole life with ASL, and he's like learning how to live in a world without. And it's like, it's almost interesting, and then it's just flat.
It sounds
and it all works out
terrible. It sounds terrible.
It all feels like they took whatever is popular on the internet right now to like talk about. So like for Hawkeye, it's like ableism in a way that's like not helpful to the cause of ableism, but like show it. And like I do understand.
And they tried to like spin it as like a Christmas thing too, right? It was supposed to be like during the
Christmas
holidays.
time in New York City.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's like it's too many conglomerations where nothing's actually able to have the space to have an interesting story or message.
Right.
And like the one thing I will say that like I can't speak to because I'm a white 30-something dude. It's like it's probably pretty cool for like a deaf little girl to watch something,
right,
and see herself in a superhero thing.
Yeah,
that's probably
for
really
sure,
cool.
For sure.
But like, give the character more life. Then give it a better story. It doesn't just have to be. Oh, and like it's just frustrating because it's like they have so much money. And instead of like putting energy into making something like interesting, they just keep cranking out the same shit.
Right.
Over and over, repackaged in horrible and different ways.
Correct.
And like, and everyone's lost their mind at this point. It's just like you have diehards who are like, I can't wait for Marvel Phase 5. It's going to be exactly the same as
and
Phase
it's like,
4.
dude, and what is that? Like Avengers, the Chang Dynasty, and then Avengers, guess what? We're doing it again. Like that's what we have to look forward to. And then in between that, we have 16 series and 12 new characters, and then we're bringing the Guardians back one more time, and then maybe James Gunn's going to do something else, and then that's it. And it's like, dude, boy, let's kind of maybe, I don't know, take a break or blow them all up or do something. Like start it over. Let's run it back. Can we start it over? You know what I mean? Something. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Yes.
And it's like,
yes,
it's exhausting. That's really what it is. It's just an exhausting media circus that like, and don't get me wrong. I think that Star Wars is heading there too.
Mm-hmm.
And like, as a Star Wars fan, first and foremost, of the like things that have existed in our culture, like I think Star Wars still has probably some more interesting stories to tell before they completely flatten them out.
Right. Well, and I mean that's like, and that's so. I'm not like into that series as much, I think, as I should be. I only ever watched and was into the new trilogy with Rey. Like I never went back.
So
I went back and watched like the original, not the prequels, but the original trilogy. I did go back and watch those. I mean, and they were good, but like I don't know anything else about it. I didn't watch the prequels. I didn't watch the like Rogue Ones or like the between films. Like I don't know.
They're at a point now with Star Wars. So like I've been a big Star Wars fan since I was like 7.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is one of those things that I try not to talk about unless someone really wants to talk about because I can't shut up about it.
No, and I love talking about it, and I know like the stories and the characters and the history and the heritage and I Am Your Father and all that.
Yeah,
shit.
There's a lot of deep Star Wars lore,
right?
But like, it's troubling to see the Marvel trend because you know that's going to happen to Star Wars, and it has happened in some ways. Like there's the Book of Boba Fett show was like it broke my brain because I was like, oh, cool, Boba Fett, this is cool. Oh, they're going to have him come back and he's going to be a crime lord now instead of serving a crime lord.
Right.
And then like immediately they're like, oh, he's a crime lord, but he's like a benevolent crime lord, so it can be packaged for kids. And I was just like, oh, like going to be like really flat.
It's weird. Really flat. It's weird. Yeah, like it just they keep they keep like just digging the hole deeper and deeper, and it's like okay, guys, like it's time to maybe let's just put cement in this one and like build a new foundation maybe over top of it.
Well, apparently, I'm intrigued for the show that comes out this month, Andor. Because Andor is the character. So you haven't seen Rogue One. Rogue One is actually probably. So The Mandalorian's the best TV show Disney's put out by far. But Rogue One's probably the best movie they put out because Rogue One's awesome in that, like, in the original first ever Star Wars, which is technically Episode 4, A New Hope.
Right.
The beginning of the movie is Darth Vader captures Princess Leia because rebels took the plans for the Death Star, basically.
Yes.
And Rogue One is the story of them stealing those plans.
Correct. Yes, I did. I believe I did
cool
see
about
that
Rogue
one.
Yep. Is Rogue One fills in all of the gaps of stuff, and also in a way that's hilarious because everyone always makes this joke about spoilers. Everyone dies at the end of Rogue One, which makes perfect sense because you haven't seen those characters in the original movies, so they have to die.
Right. Yes.
Which I thought was like a bold storytelling move. Like every hero in this is going to die.
Right.
Because they can't be allowed to continue from narrative purposes.
Right.
So it was like you came in knowing that this is like had one outcome basically, but it's still interesting to get.
Oh, okay. Got it. So is that what you would then just call fan service? Like, is that just kind of like there's
it was fan service because it filled in like they even explained like, oh, the reason there was a hole in the reactor shaft that Luke could shoot the torpedoes down was because it was put in there on purpose by someone who was forced to build this for the Empire.
Right.
So it's like it's all like it tied in like all the plot holes. It's nice.
Right.
And then there was the awesome scene at the end where Darth Vader is like fully powered up, just murdering people.
Right.
Just murdering people, just crushing them, putting his lightsaber through rebels. And there's a really cool YouTube where somebody edited together the last scene of Rogue One of Vader doing that with the first scene of A New Hope of Vader breaking into the ship. And it's like
Oh,
almost a seamless edit because it like
wow.
does that.
That's dope.
So Rogue One, Andor though is one of the characters in Rogue
Yes.
One, and this show is like just focused on his journey to joining the rebellion.
Wow.
And apparently, it's written specifically for like adults and not written for kids. And it's written in a way that's like a lot deeper and more like interesting. So we'll see. Time will tell.
Right.
They say that a lot about things, but I'm mildly optimistic that it would be cool.
No, that's dope. I'm
just
looking.
because of-
I'm looking at it now on the Disney Plus page, and it looks cool. Like the artwork looks neat, and the screenshots from the show look good.
It looks cool because I'm also interested in that like pre the Empire being at its strength, but like taking over the galaxy. Because it's like always been cool when they tell those stories of like the Empire. Like Kenobi was cool because it was like 10 years after all the Jedi were killed, and he's in hiding. And it's like a universe that's like the Empire has a pretty big foothold, but they still haven't like taken over the whole galaxy.
Right.
So it's like kind of this interesting in between story of like they're still figuring out how to take over everything, and the rebellion's not fully in full swing yet either. So it's just kind of like everything's pretty bad, but like there's little sparks of hope, which I think is an interesting storytelling time.
You mean New Hope?
Oh, whoa! There's a New Hope.
No, but you know what else is great about it is I'm on this landing page for Andor, and like I said, the screenshots look great. But if you scroll down, like you get other recommendations for Disney Plus, and I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's a riveting watch. High School Musical, the series, the reunion is a fucking tearjerker.
Really?
No, I don't fucking know, dude. It's just bullshit. It's just fucking, what's her name? Olivia Rodriguez and her boyfriend breaking up every other week in real life and in the show, and then she makes a song about it, and then now she's a billionaire.
Apparently there's High School Musical. Oh, wait, let me try to break my own brain to remember this.
No, it's High School Musical, the series.
There's a new, but the new angle, season 4 of that show is also a meta production because they're making High School Musical 4 with like Vanessa Hudgens and Zac Efron.
What?
And like the characters who will meet, they'll like Olivia Rodrigo's characters who play. It's like they're gonna meet the people from the original. I tried to understand. It sounds like they're like doing real world inside of the fake world.
What's happening?
It sounds insane. Yeah, it sounds. Tell me what it's actually happening. I'm like,
I don't know if that's like real or not. I just did. Okay, so let me just do. I tried High School Musical 2023. 4, you said. High School Musical boss clears up one rumor about High School Musical 4, the reunion. Sort of happened last week. Revealed that its upcoming 4th season of Disney Plus's High School Musical, the series, will feature a storyline where High School Musical 4, the reunion, is being filmed at the Real East High, and the show's characters will be cast as extras. The specifics of which actors the Disney Channel, blah, 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 blah. Corbin had such a good time in the season, he said, because he came back. But let's be clear up one false assumption right now. Despite Zac Efron on July 22nd and Vanessa Hudgens on June 26th, both posting pictures of themselves at the Real East High, the photos were not taken for this. I'm going to chalk that up to being a remarkable coincidence, but we'd love to get Zac and Vanessa and all of them back. Okay, so Vanessa Hudgens is staying home. That's fine. We've all seen her tits, and they're fucking perfect. And Zac Efron doesn't need to come back anyways because he's just old and has a 6-pack now. And so
he also got weird plastic surgery to make himself look like the Crimson Chin.
Yeah,
from Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah. And so, so the 4th. Let me do this again. The 4th season of High School Musical, the series. What the fuck? The 4th season of that show features a storyline where High School Musical 4, the reunion. Now, is that actually coming out as a movie independently?
Dude,
Or does High School Musical for the reunion only exist in the fourth season of High School Musical, the series?
That's where I got lost.
Okay.
I was hoping you had more information.
Fuck,
but
I don't know. I'm surprised I'm wrapping my brain around it now, but I think I understand. So I think we just need answers to whether or not High School Musical for the reunion is real life
within the universe of the TV show.
Right. And I think oh man, I'm trying to look now, but I think I don't know. I might have to do some more digging here because it's either a new or a sensitive topic because not too many people are reporting on High School Musical anymore.
Yeah, it's specific to like a certain generation would care about this. But, I have to bounce.
Yep.
By the way, I got to run. But this was a great note to end on. Just going down the Disney Plus rabbit trail of like all of it because I'm like just laughing about the fact that if true, if it does exist only in the universe. That's funny, but if they're like meta making it, that's even funny. Like it's just a funny, funny outcome of a thing that like.
I don't want High School Musical 4. No, we don't want that. I only want it to exist in the show. Like they're just making it up in the show. Yeah.
That's like also a very Disney Channel original thing to do. I feel like.
Right.
To like make something up that happens only within a universe.
Right. And it says right here, per Disney, on their first day back, the principal announces that Disney has decided to make the long-awaited High School Musical for the reunion movie on location at their beloved high school, and our Wildcats will be playing featured extras in the movie. And so they're now breaking the fourth wall? It's not like the principal says that tells the students that Disney has decided to make the long-awaited movie at their school, but it's a Disney show. It's Disney's High School Musical, the series, the show, the sequel, right? So I'm so
well because in the show, like Olivia Rodrigo is playing Vanessa Hudgens' character in the musical in the universe of the show. So now we're going even further into. The musical is the sequel to the original.
It's just another layer. It's just another layer of meta in fucking Disney.
We're just in
oh
Inception
my fucking
now.
God!
There's a high school musical Inception universe where you have to do math to figure out how many times you have to fall over in your chair to get out of it. So
I can't fucking
that's what we
do
have
it.
to look forward to.
I can't fucking do it anymore. I'm done. I can't. I don't know what to do.
So,
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
I got to bring you 2 news stories.
I mean, really,
my little happy.
Really, I mean, it's great. I think it's great. Please thank your wife for me. And
yes, I'll talk to her agent as well. We'll see what we do.
Set up that friggin' that in studio podcast. Well, even if I have to like come in before they open or something, I'll do that. That'd be dope.
Love it. But all right, I will text you. I'm sure later. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday.
Cool. Peace, man.
Bye, man.